In this video, I'm going to create this light stick, sort of an industrial thing that you might have if you were an archaeologist working in a cave. You hang that thing up, or really anywhere that you need light. All right, so we're going to create this one. It's very easy. It's beginner friendly, and we're just going to have viewport shading. And in part 2, in the next video, we'll do this where we'll add some just blender materials, and I'll show you how to create this cool glass and glowing effect. All right, so over here in Blender, very simple. I'm going to press 1 to look from the front. My screencast keys are on, and I'm going to press Shift-A, Mesh, Circle, and I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to change the vertices to 8. Press Enter, close that up. Let's look from the top, and you can see that there. Let's go into Edit mode, and I'm going to rotate, press R22. So now the flat part is on the bottom and on the top. 1 to look from the front again. Let's give this some height. Press E to extrude, left click, and pull up, and make it sort of like a bolt. Okay. Press 2 for edge selection, and that edge is still selected. Press Shift and Alt, and click there. So they're both selected. I want to scale those in, although we could just put a face on there. That might even be easier. So let's do this. Let's just go F. Make our life simple. Press A to select it all. And in edge selection number 2, we're going to bevel this. Press Control B, hold Shift, pull to the right, separate it like that, roll your mouse up one more time. So we have 3, and just go like that. So there's our bolt. All right, the next thing we want to do is we want to create the handle. We've got the bolt. We want to create this handle here. So I'm going to press Shift-A, Mesh. I'm going to choose UV Sphere. Open this up and change the segments to 16. Leave everything else the same. So we have this. Go into Edit mode, press S to scale, and make it a little smaller than the bolt here, like that. Z and choose wireframe. Press 1 for vertex selection. Box select the top, and press X vertices to get rid of them. So we just have this. Let's pull this down to where we want about the bottom of the handle to be. Give some room so you get your hand in there. Deselect. Press 2 for edge selection and Shift-Alt to click that edge. And we'll go all the way around. We're going to extrude this up. Press E to extrude, left click, pull up until it joins that bolt thing there. Okay, deselect Z, solid view. Let's go back into object mode so we see what we've got. Okay, we could take this, we could shade smooth, and we see what we have. Okay. So I want to look back at the diagram. I might want it a little bit longer, so I'm going to go into Edit mode, Z for wireframe, box select here, and pull that down a little bit more. Okay, we're going to work on the bottom, so scroll around till you see the bottom, press 1 for vertex selection, and select that central vertex. I'm going to expand my selection by pressing Control and plus. I'm going to do that 2 times. All right, so we have the center vertex, this ring, X vertices. Press 1 to look from the front. Press 2 for edge selection and Shift-Alt and click there. Let's just go back to the reference for a sec and see how it goes. All right, we're just taking that. All right, so I'm going to press E to extrude, and I'm going to pull down. I might scale in just a little bit. Take this, E and S, pull it in. Now I want to bevel this edge, this sharp edge here. So select it, press Control B, hold Shift and pull, and I want to have 3 segments. If I have 2 there, I just roll my mouse up for 3. I also want to Shift-Alt and click this edge and bevel that, Control B, to give us a smoother transition. Okay, so far so good. Now we're going to find a place for that electrical cord to attach. We want to make this piece and then a bit of the cord. All right, so I think we will bring our 3D cursor there. So let's deselect, and let's select like maybe this ring. Shift S, cursor to selected. We can even use that circle, so might as well. Shift D to duplicate, pull it down, scale it out a bit more, and let's break it out from this object. Press P, separate by selection, go back into object mode. So now that's separate from this. All right, take this piece. I'm going to bring it up, and then I'm going to extrude it down a ways. Just come down as far as you kind of think you want to. And I'm going to close this a little bit, E and S, pull it in like that. That's where the cord will attach, and let's now bevel this edge. Shift Alt and click that edge, Control B, and pull with 3. We'll add a little bit of design on this, so Control R to add an edge loop. Roll your mouse up till you have maybe 4. Left click, right click, and those are all selected there. I just keep pressing 1 to go back to front view. Control B to bevel, hold Shift and pull. Do something like this, but roll back so you don't have that middle line in there. Something like this. E to extrude, and then Alt S and pull. No, that brings them out. I'm going to push to bring them in, like that. Okay, deselect, and now we can take this and we can add a bevel modifier. I'm using an older version of Blender, so you just have to search for where your bevel is. And I'll put on 2. Let's try Shade Smooth, and we'll get this effect. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to taper this a bit. So I'm going to add another modifier. Search for Simple Deform. It'll go all weird. Let's click on Taper and Z, and then scroll this back to the left until you just have a little bit of a taper like that maybe. Okay, I'm going to apply that, go into edit mode, and let's rotate this now around the X to flip it, RX 180. Maybe scale it down a little bit so it fits. Push that in, maybe scale it in the Z a bit longer so you have something like that. Okay. Now we're going to take this end and close it a bit. Select that end in Edge Selection, E and S. Pull that in like that. Okay, good. Back into Object Mode. Let's do a bit of a chord. Shift A, Curve Path. Go into Edit Mode and rotate 90. So it's straight up and down. Pull that down and then grab maybe these two. Pull them out like that. Maybe grab this one. Pull it back, maybe down, and let's do one more. Select these two, subdivide, and take this and just push it out like this. So just get a little bit of a curve like that. Okay, this is a curve, so come over here to the curve dialog box under Geometry and Bevel Depth, and hold Shift and just pull that until you get the thickness of the chord that you like, making sure it looks like it fits. That looks okay, I guess. All right, we're going to carry on now. We're going to create the cylinder that comes up here, but we might as well just use what we've got. Press 3 for face selection and Shift Alt and click on one of these lines. We can now take all of that, Shift D to duplicate and pull it up to around there. Let's break it out from this piece, separate by selection. Take this and let's scale it. We'll scale this a little bit in everything but the Z direction. So S, Shift Z, hold Shift and pull it in, just so it's a slightly different diameter than this one. Now I do want that longer, so go into Wireframe, press 2 for Edge Selection and Box Select, and then pull this up the height that you would want your glass piece to be. Something like that. All right, cool. Now, I'm going to take this bolt and we're going to bring that up. Let's just duplicate it, Shift D to duplicate, pull it up here. Okay, that's fine. And I'm going to use this handle piece here. Yeah, we're going to use that. So let's take this and Shift D to duplicate, pull it up. Let's go into edit mode and let's rotate X 180 to do that. And I'm going to press SZ and squish it down like this. And I may want to box select this and just make it a little bit shorter. Take that, push it down to create the top piece. And we already have this going on, so that's fine. I can just take that, I may scale that in a little bit more. And I'm going to bring the 3D cursor there. Shift S, cursor to selected, because we're going to create a hook now. All right, to create the hook, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a plane, go into edit mode and press merge at center. I press 1 for vertex selection and bring it up so we have just a vertex there. All right, I'm going to create like a question mark. E to extrude, pull it up. E to extrude, pull it out. I'm going to come out to about the side here. E to extrude, pull it up. We can adjust this. E to extrude, pull it out to the other side. Around there. E, come down. Essentially what you have is this vertex is kind of in the middle between the two of them. Okay, this is what we have, a square kind of question mark. Okay, now I'm going to select these two vertices and I'm going to bevel them to make a curve. I'm going to press Shift Control B and I'm going to start pulling, and they're going to overlap and cross like that. So I'm going to press C to clamp, and watch when they hit, they'll stop there. Now the top ones haven't actually, these two don't actually touch because when I bevel it hits this one first. Shift Control B, watch the one on the left. Comes down, it hits. Okay, gotta press C again. Okay, now roll your mouse up and just keep going until you get a pleasant curve. I'm gonna do that. Okay, then I'm gonna come down to these two and I'm gonna do the same thing. Shift Control B, pull, and go there. I'm going to select it all now, press M, merge by distance, and then I'm going to box select all of this and pull it down a little bit to make a little bit more of a pleasing shape. And we have that. Okay, back into solid view, I'm going to take this, right click, and I'm going to convert this to a curve, and in the curve dialog box I'm going to hold shift around depth, and I'm going to give it some thickness until I like what I see. I'm now going to pull this whole thing down. Now I may want to change the shape of this a little bit, and I think I do. So I'm going to press 3 for face selection, Shift Alt and click, Control plus to expand my selection, maybe to there. Let's try just S to scale, and maybe I'll even pull it up a little bit and just do something like that. Okay, let's take this and we're going to convert this to a mesh. Under resolution, change that to 3 and right click, convert to mesh, and then press Control 1 to smooth it a little bit. So we now have that. You decide if you like this thing. There's other things we can do. I think maybe I'm going to get rid of this edge. Select this edge, go X, dissolve edges. Might not need it. I might even try getting rid of that and just seeing if I get a pleasing shape. Let's see. Let's even get rid of that one and see. Oh, kind of like that. Okay. Well, either way. And I might make that a little thicker. No, I already made it into a mesh. Okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to pull it down a little bit more. And let's come under here and Shift Alt and click there. F to make a face and Control B and round it out and shade smooth. And we have our hook. Okay, we're just about done. We just need to create the inner tube now. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to call this one glass. And then I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to call this one bulb. Oops. And on the glass, I'm going to come over here to the object properties and scroll down to viewport display and change the display as to wire. And now I can see inside. So I'm going to select bulb, go into edit mode, and I'm going to scale Shift Z. And I'm going to make it narrower and you can see where the glass would be. I just want a small cylinder on the inside there. Come back to here, change this back to textured, and we have what we need. Maybe we'll do a button. Let's do a quick button on there. So let's come in here and see if we can use this. Shift Alt and click this circle. Press 3 to look from the side and Shift D to duplicate and pull it out. It's actually in the front now. Let's separate it. P, separate by selection. Come in here, scale it down a bit. Let's rotate X 90 so that we're looking straight on it. pull it up to about there. That's about the size that I would want probably. So to create this, let's press E to extrude and pull back. This part is going to go into the body. Shift Alt and click this edge, E and S, pull it in, E and S, and pull back. I don't know if I said E and S, maybe it was just E and pulled back. I'm going to bevel again and see if something went wrong. There it is, bevel. Shade smooth, Control 1, that's better. All right, let's take that and move that in. I don't know what actually happened, but I want to move that in so it's just slightly poking through. And I want to put a button itself in there, that's like the border. So let's bring the 3D cursor there, Shift S, cursor to selected, and let's bring in a UV sphere again with the same values as before. Let's rotate X 90 and scale it, S to scale, till it fits. Go into wireframe, press 1 for vertex selection, and box select the back side and get rid of it. So we have this, A to select it all, SY, scale it in the Y and flatten it out, but it still has a curve to it. Pull that in, and we can shade smooth, and we have our button there. I'm not going to join it. Okay, now let's have a look at viewport display colors. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to switch to object. I'm also going to switch to matte cap and choose a nice shiny one like this white one. And it looks like some of my polys are flipped. You see this one looks, it's kind of discolored, kind of glowing and then dark. So if I come over here, you'll see that those are red. So select those two, go into edit mode, Alt N, recalculate all outside. So just make sure of that periodically. All right, I'm going to assign some colors now. I'm going to select this piece here, and on this object properties, scroll down to viewport display, change the color, drag it down to a nice dark color, not too dark though. All right, something like that. Come to the hex, and I'm going to Control C to copy it. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to paste that there too. Now in reality, I could probably actually join those two together. And I could take this bolt and this and join that together because I want that all black. And you just have to make sure there's no subdivision. Like there's a bevel on this one. I'm actually going to apply that bevel and I'm going to join it to there. This is a curve, but I'm going to convert that. Is it long enough? Does it look a little bit funny? I'm just wondering. I'm just thinking maybe I could just pull it out or do something like that. Maybe I'll get rid of that. Okay, that's fine. Let's take that curve, set the resolution to 3, and we will convert to a mesh. And maybe I'll do Control 1 and apply that. Apply that subdivision, and then I can join it as well because I'm pretty much going to be the same materials. All right, so that all looks good. I also want that same material on this, and you know what? I'm going to apply that subdivision on that and join it. But this button I want different, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to change this one to like maybe a red color or so, orangey red. All right, whatever you like really on that. Up here, I'm going to make this kind of a metal color by just changing it to it's sort of an off blue. That's fine. And then it's the glass. So let's first of all, we're going to take this piece here, which is the glass, and I'm going to change that to sort of a bluish color. And then A stands for alpha. I'm going to drag that down, and you can start to see through it. So there we go. And that is really it. All right, in terms of viewport colors, you can try different matte caps. If you happen to have different, you will have some different ones. The shinier ones tend to look best, but you can get some really interesting effects depending on which ones you have. But I'll just go back to this one, and this is in a collection right now. What I'll do is I'm going to take this whole thing, pull it up above the X, Shift C to bring my 3D cursor back. I'm going to duplicate this. That would increase the polys, but I'm going to put that into a new collection. I'll just call it collection 2. And I'm just going to rotate this just to show that if you wanted to see it more fully, Here, let's turn off this screencast keys and Control plus, or Control spacebar, sorry. And so if I forget this one for the moment, by making it go on its side, I can get more of it in. And really what you could do at this point is just get a position that you like. And I'll just hide that. You get a position that you like, and then you can take a screenshot. So if I was to do that, I'm going to take a screenshot right there. I'm going to press print screen, and I'm going to come over to GIMP, which is a free image editing software. I'm going to Control V to paste that in. I'm going to select invert and then select the rectangle and just box select maybe this much of it. Select invert image, crop the selection. So I have that. Now I'm going to filter, enhance, unsharp mask. I don't want too much. I have this. You just adjust these sliders and choose the amount you want. Sometimes I will change the color balance on this. I like to usually go towards a cyan. It's kind of sci-fi-ish. So just drop that down a bit. Okay. Colors, you can do curves, and you just make an S curve. Click here, pull it up, makes it lighter, makes it darker. So you're sort of accentuating the light and the dark. And that's it. And then you just save that. Just export it as a JPEG. So I'll do that, and I'll put that in here. And this is video part 1.jpg. You have to add the extension export. I'm going to close that, and let's just save this. I'm going to close Blender. I'll close that as well, and let's have a look at that if we can find that there. So this is video part 1. Let's open that up. And there it is. So it looks pretty good. You know, you got some lighting effects on it. So even without rendering this thing, it looks all right. Now, you may not get a lot of light, you know, coming from that thing, but I think it's pretty obvious as to what it is. So if you don't even want to deal with any materials, you don't have to. But like I said, next time we will, I'm going to put on very similar materials. It's going to be a shiny plastic, but I'm going to put a little bit of normal work on here. And of course, we'll work on the glass as well. All right, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and hope you'll join me for part 2.